Everybody, good morning. Gaten, Rex, Ivan, Will, Don, Diane, Be Like Water, Swinburne, Altoro, Cliff, Joy, Ted, Kevin, Frank, Craig. Good to see everybody. And Sergio, J. Will, and my channel subscribers, just Robert K, Marianne J, S. Kohler, David, Tara, Hanson, Larry. Good to see everybody. And welcome, new people. Welcome to the show. Had a another. I thought I fixed the problem yesterday, but apparently not. I'll have to work on the code that I got that generates the list. But all trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance not necessarily indicative of future results. Presentation intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining. Not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instruments, including stocks, options, bonds, forex, futures, cryptos, treasuries. Don't long them, don't short them, don't trade them, because you may lose money doing that thing. If you want somebody to just tell you what to do, how to make money, well, that's why we have financial advisors. You need to hire and consult one. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. If you trade, you might lose money if you don't know what you're doing. If you don't have a calibrated gut, don't use your gut feeling for anything in the markets. And today we had GDP coming out. Came out a little hotter than expected. A little hotter. Unemployment claims came in line. Look at that. This is the most in-line numbers we've had in a long time. The last couple of weeks. Just right on the money. It's like all of a sudden they magically got good at doing this. I don't know. I don't know. The final GDP price index down 2.3 instead of 2.4, and goods trade balance minus $147 billion. We're buying more trade goods than we're selling. That's just a month. Golly, ramping. Biggest numbers ever right there. It's wild. As I've been talking about the last few days, we are a $3 trillion marketplace, and the rest of the world wants to sell their stuff here. You know, the argument is that, Trump's tariffs are going to be bad. Well, how do you sell stuff if you can't sell it in America? Where are you going to go? What other new market are you going to replace it with? Probably not one. So you're going to be eating the tariffs and playing the game. Tomorrow we have PCE right here. Everybody seems to have forgotten too that Trump was president before and did this and instituted tariffs on people before, and everybody ate them because they wanted to keep selling in America. You know, maybe America. maybe this time is different. Maybe it's not. Well, and the only thing we can do is see, and that's cool. That shirt does something weird to the camera. All we can do is find out by, trial by fire, essentially. All right, we have that coming out tomorrow morning. Right there, it's Powell's favorite inflation read. Don't really expect materially different numbers. The month-over-month 0.3, that'll probably be what we get. We have to jump over here and look at the numbers right here. We'll get the year-over-year over here. That's interesting. Friday. Tell me all of them. How do you click it off to get them all? Cool. God, love it. Coming soon. All categories. Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. There we go. Core PCE year over year, expecting a 2.7. See what we actually get. Actually ticked down slightly in February. Expecting it to tick back up slightly. Should be in line with the CPI that we got a few weeks ago, where that came in a little spicy. We could get a negative reaction. Yesterday we did exactly what I said we would do. Whoop, and stopped right there. Potential support. ES overnight. Dipping below the 30. And I fixed this on my chart, and I don't know why. It's not fixed over here. $30 minutes. Sitting on the 1 hour. That's really what I expected on S&P 500 futures. Kind of want to hold about that, although this is starting to look like a 1, 2, 3, 4. If we get a 5 down, we'll probably get a 3 up. And then we'll have to see if this does 5 down and 3 up, probably going lower low. This is very important right here. If we dip down to a lower low than we had yesterday, or basically on the restart there, we dip down lower and don't just fill this gap and then make a 1, 2, 3 up to a 618 level. 61.8% retrace. And then turn down. Not good. Not good. Not good at all. So something to watch out for right there. Now, it's entirely possible. Plausible, whatever, that we do a 5 down, a 3 up, a 5 down again, come down to the 618 right here, 56.34, and then we start going up again. Let's see finer points of what we got on the chart right here. Possibly that's 3 waves, possibly that's 5 waves. It's ambiguous right now on the rise because this looked like 5 up. That looked like 3 down. This looks like 5 up. That looks like 3 down. That looked like 5 up. But it was overlappy in the middle here. Right there is what created the ambiguity in this chart. We did gap up right there. We're highly likely to go refill, to fill that gap, retest. And we did leave a gap on the contract rollover and filled it immediately. That's what I see right now. That's what I see. Why am I using ES instead of the SPX? Because this one's not ticking yet. It closes it when the market closes at 4 and doesn't start ticking again. But this one only closes from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern and then it's back open again. We've been chooching all night here. And we closed at 5 p.m. and reopened at 6 right there. And we've been working. In Q, same kind of situation, sitting on the 1 hour, below the 30 minutes. Be like, where's the next level of support? That's the problem here. We're below it. We're below all the support at the moment. If this lets go, we can go back to the bottom pretty easily at this point. I don't want to see that happen. We are overlapped with this high. And that causes me concern here. Yeah, we are overlapped with that high on ES also. Just slightly. Not good. Overlap is not bullish. Russell holding on to the 1 hour pretty well. Glanced off the 4 hour. It's got a long way to go to the daily. Still the same thing I expect over here. So nothing's really changed big picture for me on all of this stuff. It can change if we go make a lower low. This is what I was expecting. We'd do a retrace, possibly hold the 618, then go rock and rolling up here. Maybe do the V-shaped recovery and take us back up here. It's 10 days on average to do the recovery. So we could shoot up and be, and that by recovery, I mean 50% retrace. And cash index didn't quite make it to 50%. That's what we're actually talking about. So this could retrace back down. There it's open and get that 50%. Usually, you know, on average, since the year 2000, it's taken 10 days to recover 50% of the drop. We came up just shy. Retracing wouldn't take much to pop back up. Hit that S5TW. Just checking in here. This looks like we might push it on up for a few days. Get to the top. S5FI hanging out in the middle. Not really providing any clarity. It's possible that this was close enough, and we go shooting off to the top. No clarity on that one. And then S5TH, again, not providing much clarity. We dipped down in, and it rejected. That could have been a fake out right there. And we go shooting off back to the top, make a higher high than we made right back here, and then start the bigger correction. So this one actually fits with my bigger expectation right there. Bigger expectation. All right. I don't know anybody named Diane James. There's nobody in Discord by that name, and I haven't found any subscriber by Diane James. So I'm not sure what you're asking. I don't know anybody by that name. You asked yesterday. I looked. I don't have anybody by that name. Oil coming up. The next big resistance right here at the daily roadmap line. If we break through, bigger upside potentially to 80. You want the potential trade opportunity here. It would be back up to, now this is a leverage chart. Be careful on leverage. Of course, substantial risk of loss. We're still below the roadmap line here. Still below the 618 zone, which is actually down just a bit. Right there. Still below that 618 level. If we get through 3150, pretty reasonable spot to get out. Potential to go higher, but leverage stuff does not always follow the pattern. So this one does not have to, if we get anywhere up in the 30 to 31 area, it's probably pretty good on this one. As oil, CL, gets to 80, about $10 upside there. You go, just zoom out and look. If we just came back up to these highs, we're back up to 37 area. Just came back up where we had highs. Right in here, 36, 37. Right there. Gold spiking out. I don't know if I got a fill at the open. Hopefully, it's already giving it back a little bit. Anybody make out on Gold Rush trade yet? Doesn't look like I got filled. It's not yet. Anybody can let me know. Let's dive down, take a look. I was talking about that it needed a higher high. That technically kind of did it. There's still potential to go higher. Talked about this for a couple days. Oop. For that low right there. There's the potential to extend this on up to right there. And that's why this big arrow is drawn right there. This is an Elliott wave pattern. Goes like this. That's a 0 point. That's wave 1. That's wave 2. That's wave 3. This was wave 4. And 5 typically is the same size as, 1 is typically the same size as 5. And just typical. It's not a rule. All right. It's not a rule. 1 is usually equal to 5. You use the fib tool, 3-point fib tool. right here, this tool right there. Click 0.1, 0.2, 0.3 using the tool, and that projects right there. 30.99. If we're going to pop that. Contract rollover does happen on Friday for TradingView. So there'll be a gap in prices because the M contract is substantially higher than the J contract, which is expiring or, ending in April. So if you compare this against platforms, you may see a different price. It's probably because GCM 2025 is running, was running substantially higher, or I guess it still is, than GCJ 2025. Yeah. Getting a fair pullback. But that may... I just use the constant contract when I'm charting it. Just stay here. Live in my home. I want to see it stay above this level if we're going to get more upside. Don't want to overlap that. If we start overlapping that, not looking too good for a continuation on up to the high right here. Remember, I kind of started out this conversation like I don't like overlap on ES and NQ. If I don't want to see overlap on gold either. So we need to hold above that 3040 level to be able to get to 3100. All right. Any questions? Got filled it at the open? Cool. Love to hear it. I bet my contract from last week didn't close. And gold retracing a little bit. Grab the extended hours. Yeah, we kind of peaked out pre-market there at 8150. Retracing. I bet they take that back down. That trade's done. Well, if you made money, good on you. Good on you. All right. Back to it. Bitcoin. Ooh, nasty. Dang it. Small time frame, not good. That looks like we're rejecting. It's not what I want to see. We need to hold this uptrend of lows. If we don't, if we get down in the 84,000 zone, we're setting it up to go lower low. Not good, not good, not good, not good. This is where the rubber meets the road right here on Bitcoin. We're either going, we're going to force it. We're either going to break out or we're setting up the potential to come on down to 74, 75,000. Right down there. Ethereum, still messing around, no clarity. NKD, still messing around, right at the bottom of the box. I'd love to see this pop in, get above the roadmap line, and provide some upside clarity. Not getting that so far. Not at all. Not at all. And DXY, just consolidating down here. That's cool. There's no list. What the heck? There we go. That was weird. So, dollar still consolidating at that 618 zone. That's the 618 from this low right here to this high right here. Run the 2-point fib tool. 618 comes out right there. Right where we are. And these are zones. They're not like lines in the sand that you can't step across, because everybody and their mother can program these. Some people use log mode. Some people don't use log mode. That provides some difference. Some people add plus or minus 5%. Some people add plus or minus 10% when they're coding it into their bots. That creates a zone where we usually find, support and resistance. Now, there's some definitive hard, rules when you're doing Elliott wave. Like when you have a 0 point and you have a wave 1, wave 2 here cannot go below the 0 point. Like that's a rule. So there are some rules in this stuff, but for the most part, the fib zones are fuzzy zones. They're not definitive lines to the hundredth of a penny or thousandth of a penny, 0.00000. Like they're just not that solid. They're not even to the penny. Usually they're plus or minus 5 or 10%, as I said. So it depends. Are you on something that's high priced or low priced? So the dollar not really providing us much clarity here. Moving on. I go pull everything moving up $2 or more, put it on the gainers list, down $2 or more, put it on the decliners list. And wow, that one blasted off right there. I don't typically trade biotech, pharma, and when it's dominating the list, like we see today, that's usually a sign of a troubling day in the market. Boom, right up there. I'm sure they announced some sort of awesome drug or buyout, and there you go. Missed it. You would have had to buy on faith, and boom, right to the target. FUL, Fullerton Company, was popping. Now we're starting to give it up. Looks not great. Industrial supplies. I think these guys make fire hydrants, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that's Mueller, Fuller. I don't know. It says industrial equipment, industrial specialties. That looks like a move up. A retrace looking for support right down here around 48. It could hold where we are. Looking for that. Then we got to bust through the daily roadmap line to get more upside. What upside would we be looking for at this point? If we hit that 618, well, because we hit the 50 already, could be looking at something up here in the 116 area for the next move at the minimum. Could go much higher. Could be up to 155. Not bad. That's almost a double on shares. IWD, Russell 1000. Man, that looks like a nasty chart right there. Not providing much clarity. Looks like it wants to retrace. That was the lowest low. We may need to retrace back down to here before we can get some upside. That's going to be major resistance right there to going higher. This might have downside to go. That looks rough. Checkpoint at targets. Retrace would be the next move, I would expect. I wouldn't really expect it to go over 232. If you're new here, this level, 75% likely. This level, 70% likely. This level, 35% likely. So when we hit it, it's highly likely we get a retrace. The next level's up, drop on off. This one, these ones up here, dropping down to like 20% likely. These down here, like, we're starting to get down into like 10% of moves hit that, 5% of moves, less than 1% of moves will go all the way up here. So out of these, less than 1 out of 100 will go all the way up to there without looking back. And by looking back, I mean dropping back to the roadmap line right in here. Just less than 1% of moves will just go shooting up without coming back. GGL. Potential bounce here. If you're just unfamiliar with this, what I'm doing, you're like, hey, how do I get the roadmap line? Click the link right under me. Go to the channel homepage, watch the video that's pinned to the channel. Tells you how the roadmap line works. Gives you the code. If you're like, I just want the easy button. I want to be able to put up my chart. I want a watch list. It's stuff set up. Cool. Click more. Expand the description under the video. Go click the link. $5. That's it. 5 actual dollars. 5 US dollars. There's no trick. There's no gimmick. There's no upsell. $5 gets you that indicator. The upsell is if you want to add 12 months of me telling you tickers that are set up. It's like 19 more dollars. I mean, $25, less than 25 bucks, $24, and you can get this for like 15 months. I mean, that's a pretty good deal. GDXU, GGAL, Potential to bounce. Resistance at 66. 76 upside. Resistance there. Right here. This is a new level I've added after doing a lot of statistics. Added that level. So right there. GDXU. We got the setup to push this on higher. I don't know. Gold though. Gold's gonna have to keep going. Now this is miners, not gold. So, and this is leverage on miners. So yeah, we're starting to get really crazy here. This is the gold miners, and that's already hitting the target. Remember what I said, 75% likely. Boom, we're there. 70% likely, and we still have high odds that we can extend it. This one drops down to 35% though, so not super high odds that we're going to extend it up here. And GDXU, leverage stuff typically underperforms the actual underlying. So I'm not sure that we can get that extension here. GLD, squeak it out, baby. See, I mean, this is actually a 4-hour bounce right here. The roadmap line works on all time frames. So this was a 4-hour bounce, not a daily bounce. And look at this. We climbed right through these two targets. Hit there, retrace, but didn't come back to the roadmap line. Working our way on up. Highly likely we hit the 285 zone. If we're going to extend it up, 285, 292 above that. Maybe a retrace. If we come down and hit the roadmap line on the 4-hour, we're going to reset the statistics. 313 above that, 327 above that, and the ridiculous move would be 383, which I don't think we can go 100 points, but anything's possible. Anything's possible. That would be the bubble pattern, essentially. And if you've never seen the bubble pattern, look at this. Psychology of markets. When you see a stock go absolute vertical, and people are like, I'm going to be rich. Got to tell everybody to buy more. Watch out for that initial pullback. Don't get complacent. We get some chop, and then we break down. We see this over and over and over in the market. I call it the bubble pattern. You can Google psychology of market cycle, and you will get this chart in 900 different flavors. It's all basically the same. All basically the same. Now, I kind of talked about, in the thumbnail, I teased out that consumers have a little problem, right? We got some people with student loan debt, almost 9 million of them. The COVID era stuff ended. And now we've got giant delinquencies and defaults ramping up. Right here. Uh-oh. So we had a forbearance period. Payments resume. And we had a lot of people not take it seriously. They thought they were going to get the forgiveness from Biden. Just didn't start paying loans again. Now, all those programs are ending, and they're going to take triple digit hits to their credit score. Talking about 130 points is the average whack on their credit score. That's rough on the consumer, and adds into all this financial struggle that we're seeing here. And if you wonder, here's where I'm getting those numbers right there. So new student loan delinquency. If you're in a 760, you probably get 171 hit. If you're in a 720 to 759, you get 165. 660 to 719, you get 165. 620 to 659, you get 143. And wow, that's rough, right? Makes it more difficult to buy cars, buy houses, buy anything that requires a credit report. Ouch. Ouch. So we're seeing credit delinquencies going up. That will trickle into cars and stuff like that too, as those people have to pay student loans on top of their cars. We'll see car delinquencies ramp up. We'll see credit card delinquencies ramp up. And The risk off asset for this kind of stuff is gold. Can we pop it? I don't know. Gold's currently sitting at roughly $20.4 trillion market cap right there. $20.4 trillion. Up almost $1 trillion as we saw the market pull back. Apple still hanging at 3.3, Microsoft down to 2.8, Nvidia down to 2.7. Wow, that was a big fall from lost like about $500 million or more off the market cap right there. Amazon down at 2.1, Alphabet all the way down at 2, silver coming in at 1.9, Bitcoin down here at 1.7. Whew. And we're seeing Meta down at 1.5. I think this could be a $3 trillion company. We could double. Meta might be a double. I think they got some good stuff going on in the background. They're not really telling everybody. This one right here could be a pretty big one too. Really got beat down on this last pullback. And remember, it's not a car company. It's an AI robotics company. Robot cars coming in on the streets by themselves autonomously in June. Things are about to get spicy. Wow, Eli Lilly got beat down a little bit too. Walmart getting beat down. It's an interesting market here. So back to how we make money today. Ugly. Man, that one rocking and rolling. Might want to consider where you're going to step off on ugly. Ultra gold. 125 be a good spot. JNUG. Junior miners with a 2x bull. So this is GDXJ with a 2x twist on it. Move all the indicators, that low, that high. We're sitting at the potential to go up to 59, which is not super much higher. JNUG already tapped the 1448, possible to go up to 66. Kava, not convinced we're going higher until we break above the daily roadmap line. This could roll back down, make one more lower low down in the 618 zone right there. Nugget, that's a 2x on gold miners. So take the GDXU, take 1x. You know, this is a triple X up here. This is just a double X right here. Potential go up to 65, I guess. But this, remember, just like this one up here, it does not have to reach these targets because it's leveraged. Substantial risk of loss. AEM, rocking and rolling compared to Inium that is not rocking and rolling. AEM may be the big winner this cycle. Now, as for stuff dropping, SNX, big whack down to, ooh, got really low. Line in the sand. This starts converting to a bearish pattern below 91. As long as we can hold in here, break back up, could go higher. Just not convinced. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. We gap filled. Got the overlap. I want to see this get out of here. Stick the gap fill. Let's not break on lower. Give me a warning here. We start getting below that, we're probably going on down. Not going to be bullish. I'll talk about the expectation of the day here in a minute. ESLT, taking a little whack. That's been absolutely parabolic. When I talk about the bubble pattern, look at that. Watch for a little bit of chopping here. And then a breakdown. Could come all the way back down to retest that high around $240. ASML, probably going to take a dip down to the 600, low 600s. Right down in here is what I expect. Been expecting that for almost 6 months now. App. Caution. If we can break above that resistance, we can have upside at 588. If we don't, we may get downside. Somebody bought a large chunk of puts on this one yesterday. I think it was. Although it may have been selling puts. I'm not sure. I was having a real heartburn telling which way that was. I was making an educated guess that that one was selling puts, not buying puts. Yeah. Hey, maybe they bought them. It was a 330 strike, so it's now in the money on a pullback. Could have been buying it. Maybe it was like a $1.1 million trade. Ferrari pushing the lows. That may break. Like, if this gets below these lows from back over here, we might see this develop further downside. Severe further downside. Possibly 50% retrace. FNGA just chopping under the roadmap line, not providing any clarity on going higher or lower at this point. Roadmap line resistance, 618 resistance. Got to get through that stuff right there to go higher. And if we reject off of it, we definitely could go lower than we've been on FNGA, formerly known as FNGU. GE Veranova, rejecting in a spot where it looks like we're going to go on a deeper retrace. MSTR, this may, as Bitcoin rolls a little bit, this may need to come back test this breakout before we can go higher. I hope that's the way this is going to go if we're going to retrace. TM, just chopping in the zone. Can't break out, can't break down. Probably going to fill out this little triangle thing, watermelon seed squeeze. And then maybe we can break up, or maybe we break down. Time will tell. Carvana. If we hold the roadmap line here, break back above the 618 at 233, probably going on up to 317, 342. If we hold this area really well, break down below this low that we had just a couple weeks ago, probably going on a bigger retrace, maybe down below 100 on Carvana. AMD still hunting the breakout. If this does a 618 retrace here, that initial move up, and we hold it right there and turn bullish, I will probably get into that one. I want to see it confirmed by breaking above the roadmap line. I've been on this retrace for over a year. Finally got the levels. I have not bought yet. You'd be like, well, why aren't you buying? It's because this could still go lower. It could still fail here. It hasn't confirmed to me that. And this is not like, I don't feel strongly convinced that this is the pattern yet until we do that little 1-2 and really set it up. And then then I'm feeling stronger that we're going to rally up here, like the 370, 500 area. Possibly even up to 800. It's a whole different set of fibs. Different way to do it right here. Different statistics that I don't have numbers on. This pattern fails a lot more often. This big, what I call measured bounce pattern. This pattern fails with a much higher rate than the one bouncing off the orange roadmap line. But you can see the upside way bigger. Talking about going from 100 to 5 to 900. That's a potential 3x, potential 5x, potential 9x on AMD. That's just wild, right? GM, chopping around, resistance right here, bounce down. If we get below this zone right here, we're probably going back to the lows. And we're talking about back below 24 probably. Jeffries Financial, have nothing to do with this, but share a name. Resistance here, and this doesn't look like we're done on the downside yet. Probably going to go lower. And CEG. GE Veranova, somebody just bought a large chunk of 290 puts. This right here. Spent $1 million buying 290 strike puts out to October. That looks like Probably going lower. I don't know if somebody just bought those based on me saying that it looked like we were going lower, but there you go. Glad to help you out if that was you making that trade. Anyway. All right, moving on. PLTR. I still expect that one to come back to the roadmap line. And it could potentially do a large retrace back down to the 20s. That would kind of hurt. 75% retrace. Just back into the roadmap line is 27% downside from the last high. PTIR is 2x leverage on that. So if PLTR takes a 27% downside, this will probably take close to a 60% downside. Be careful. You've been warned. Take it back to 47. And CG. Not sure that's done. We have resistance at the roadmap line at 243. Downside targets still down to like 160. ALV at the upside targets. ALV on the US listed version is looking like we need to hit that 618 at 85. CDW is looking like we still have downside to go. This computer business is rough. Is that how Best Buy looks? Kinda. Not the same, but CDW, Best Buy, both having trouble. BST bounced off the resistance, may go lower. GME. I think the hype around buying Bitcoin is done. We're probably coming down to 18. SMH. Watch out for that one to drop. VRNT still dropping. Probably going to make a lower low than 1850. CE. Watch for that to push on lower. There's no signs of a bottom. Airbnb. If we break down below this very loose uptrend of lows, probably going to make a low down in the 100 area. Otherwise, continue in the triangle up in this 140 area. VRT. Back down to the target. Very well could extend this down in the 70 area pretty easily. TSM. If we get below these lows from just a few days ago, right here, that 167 level, we get below that, odds are we're coming all the way down here to like 135. Reddit, looks like we're set for the bigger correction. I drew this on here. We'll probably hit this area. We kind of gapped through it. We went up, we came back, and funny enough, it's not magic, just math. Watching patterns. All right, bias for the day. Like I mentioned, I really want to see us hold this zone right here where we gap filled. We're getting a little bounce. I need to see a lot more bounce. Need to see it breaking above the roadmap lines. Start with the 1 minute. Resistance up at 57.47. 5 minutes. These all work together. 5 minute, look at that. Held overnight. Continuation lower. Now, we might get that 3-wave retrace off of this low. May take us back up to, see where this hits. They all work together. And we may, let's see, that high, this low is probably the low. Look for getting above this zone right here. We get back above 5,800. Odds are we're going higher from here. We reject off of that, we're probably coming on down to 5630 at least. And that's futures numbers. Cash index is sloppier, much sloppier. Looks much more like a 3-wave up. It's kind of like a WXY. Not very clean. Holding the 30-minute though. Watch for resistance at the 1 hour on the cash index. Right here, 5740. If we get above that, got the 618 zone up there at 5888. This may not be able to get that today. Remember my timeline. was all the way out to the 7th of April, 8th of April, 7th, 8th April out here. It's where I would expect us to be back up near this level if we're going to be bullish. I'm still expecting that. Like, that's my primary expectation right there. Back in this zone by that kind of timeline. Now, this can ruin it right here. This can bust my expectations if we screw this up and break down below this 618 zone right here. Can wreck everything. It's very important right now. Very, very important. All right. Have a great day, everybody. See you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15 tomorrow. Samir request show is on Tuesdays at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Don't usually take requests in the morning. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you again later. I'll be in Discord all day.